With the massive success of both Injustice Gods Among Us and Mortal Kombat X, NetherRealm Studios and Warner Bros. Games doubled down and delivered their next title in 2017, Injustice 2. With the larger roster than the previous three titles and more flashy visuals, this game was a treat to look at. With this came even more updated super moves, and with that, we'll be ranking all 38 super moves from Injustice 2 from the worst to the best.
Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. My name is Nick, and welcome to or welcome back to the channel. If you're new or returning but haven't done so, click the subscribe button to join the Whack Pack and to stay tuned for more fighting game ranking videos. We're continuing all supers ranked and looking at the second to last NetherRealm Studios title we'll be covering, Injustice 2. This game, like MKX, improved so much on its super moves. Not only are these flashier than before, but these include more character and charm, better graphics, and look absolutely amazing. So trust me when I say this, ranking 38 of these was extremely challenging. I'll be sure to explain my placements, and even ones that I rank low, I'll still think of something positive to say about it. Also, my apologies in advance for the mixed gear pieces on all of the characters. I haven't played this game since MK11's launch outside of capturing footage for the Sub-Zero costume ranking. So if you want to know why some characters look unrecognizable or not in their traditional outfits, you know why. With that, let's enter the multiverse and rank all 38 of the Injustice 2 super moves. Taking the bottom spot on this list is both the newcomer and sub-villain of Injustice 2's story, along with being the leader of the society, Gorilla Grodd. For how unique this character is, utilizing both brains and brawn approach to his playstyle, his super is extremely underwhelming. All he does is just banana slams you and punches you. Imagine how cool it would be if he punched you and with his psychic powers, reeled you back in as he kept doing the same power punch over and over again, ending it with the overhead slam to the ground. Would have been amazing if you ask me, dare I say, absolute ape shit. Sadly, Grodd's comes off as the most disappointing in the entire game. Just slightly moving up one more spot is another newcomer to Injustice 2, and another highly requested character, Black Canary. She is highly skilled with all of her fighting styles and her Canary Cry superpower. You'd think that would make for a killer super, but sadly it's just underwhelming. A flip kick followed by a scream and a punch is all you get. Sure, it has some cool camera work in there, but it's not that flashy and could have utilized some other traits, maybe like her gadgets or more of her fighting styles to take advantage of. Like the Canary Cry, this just makes me wanna cry. Shield bashing into 36 is the first returning character on this list, Wonder Woman. Though it's flashier and includes more actions and shots compared to her Gods Among Us super, but this one is pretty weak in comparison to the rest of the roster. Sorry, Wendy, for how iconic you are as a character, you deserve much better. Fusing on and looking at another newcomer to the game, Firestorm. This literal hothead has a pretty underwhelming super if you ask me. Where you'd imagine some fire tornado or heat wave, you just get a basic projectile super. Also, the music not syncing with the final hit makes this fall apart in the presentation department for me. This one really needed to turn up the heat to make it more effective. Another newcomer flies in at 34, that being the teenager Blue Beetle. For how highly requested this character was, and for how fun he is to play as, you'd think that this super would be better. You can clearly tell that this super was developed extremely early during the game's lifetime, especially when you compare it to characters who were added much later in the roster. It's not that flashy, and it really just feels like a combo string. Though I will give it credit that it does do some fun cinematic stuff, like the angles and even that slow-mo shot in there. It's kinda bland for such a cool character. Looking at another returning character and member of the Justice League, Cyborg. This is an improvement over the first title, beating out the basic beam super, but this one is still okay for Injustice 2's standards. Transporting you to Apocalypse and having some of Darkseid minions attack you feels a bit out of character and feels more like, a Darkseid character. Having it end with a short beam shot is also just okay. With the upgrades in next-gen hardware, I really wish Cyborg's super would have made a bigger upgrade too. At 32 with Hal Jordan, better known as Green Lantern. In comparison to his original super, I found this to be a step down. Sure, making a Gundam and having each part of the Gundam attack the opponent and ending it with a blast is cool. I feel the imagination from his Injustice 1 super is what made it cool. All the missiles and planes and such like that. Though I like it, I'm not pulling a Beyonce and putting a ring on this one. Putting on the Helm of Fate and visiting number 31 with Dr. Fate. This one is still good, but it could have been loads better. It's unique how he shrinks you and has all of his other Dr. Fates beat you up, but I wish he was more involved in this one. Still not bad, but if he did some more flashy actions, it could have been helmed as a great super.
This is your fate.
Alright, the first few supers I covered are ones I thought that were a bit underwhelming or disappointing. The rest on this I consider to be pretty good and could tie for a single placement. So if there's one I rank low, it doesn't mean it's bad at all. This is a ranking and we're looking at 38 supers in total. So with that, let's continue and look at the rest of these. Catnapping into number 30 is Catwoman. Where I ranked her first super in the bottom 5, her second improves quite a bit. Adding some really nice elements like her cat bike, dragging the opponent like you were an action figure being held on by a string by Napoleon Dynamite while going at high speeds with a massive explosion. Also, a nice little reference to Trinity from The Matrix in there. A good one if you ask me.
Scurry away, little mouse.
29 goes to the antagonistic hula dancing villain from the Suicide Squad 2016, Enchantress. Though I don't know too much about this character outside of that terrible movie I just referenced, this one is still pretty cool and unique. Having the opponent's soul come out and then having it beat you up is a nice and unique touch, although I found the ender to be a bit lacking. Still flashy and nice. Sprinting into the 28th spot is another newcomer and villain to Wonder Woman, Cheetah. Like Enchantress, I wasn't too familiar with this character until I played this game. I do appreciate how this super is a nice love letter to Capcom fighting games, borrowing elements from Spider-Man's Maximum Spider and Strider Hiryu's Ragnarok supers from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is another ranking that'll surely be coming soon. Outside of that, it's pretty good and I'm not sure many would catch that reference unless pointed out. Like the right input for Maximum Spider, this one is downright fierce. Bat breaking at 27 is the Bat Breaker himself, Bane. Yet another flashy and innovative super, knocking the opponent skyward with a godly stomp, making the entire super take place airborne. I like all the wrestler moves and the ending with the drop on the head. Sadly, this one is really missing that back break like Injustice 1 had. I don't know, maybe have the opponent be slammed through a table or have Bane hit him over the head with a chair. This is still a good one that'll get the wrestling fans all excited. Entering 26 with our first guest character and our second visit to Hell with the series, Dark Horse Comics' Hellboy. Instead of some supers, where you just warp to another location, it's cool he pulls out a medallion and tackles you through a portal to Hell while beating you in freefall. Having the demons attack you and ending it with an axe slam is nice too. Great use of camera angles to make this a marvel to look at. Boy, this one is cool as hell. At number 25 with the first DLC character introduced in this game, Red Hood. Honestly, I'm a bit mixed on this one. There are some aspects I love, such as the camera angles and the flow, but my gripe is that it relies too much on his guns, which honestly sounds more like a complaint about Injustice 2 overall. If this had utilized his tasers and other gadgets, it could have been bumped up several more placements. Still a solid super overall though. Taking aim at number 24 is Green Arrow. I really like the majority of this super move, all with great flow, pacing, and use of his arrows. However, the dive kick and the weird background are what makes this end pretty weak for me. I would have preferred him using his zipline arrow and then to dive at the opponent at such high speeds. I feel it would have made it end in a more impactful way too. Still a good super move from the Protector of Star City. Slashing into 23 is one of many who have taken the title of Robin, this being the Damian Wayne's Robin. This is a pretty good looking super move, this one utilizing his skill with a sword and capping off with some boom, that coming from the explosive wingdings. I still think the comic book whoosh does make it look a little weird from a visual perspective, but the rest still looks pretty nice, especially for a grounded and non-superpowered character. Way to cut in for a good super, Damian. Taking a look at the smallest hero on this list at 22, the Atom. Though it includes basic fighting game staples, a punch to the face, command grab, rising uppercut, or a shoryuken, and a slam. But what makes this so cool and how it fits to the Atom is how he shrinks and manipulates his size to make each strike more impactful and unique. Size matters not for Atom, he'll still make a super flashy. Look, it's the Man of Tomorrow turned Man of Tyranny in the Injustice timeline, Superman. There are a lot of cute elements included in this one. The fact he's punching you in the brightest of days while paying tribute to the Man of Steel movie, doing the actions nearly beat for beat. The ending is great, flying way ahead of you, catching you, and then slamming you back to the arena. Lots of great camera angles and shots in here. It's a great way to showcase what Superman can do. From the brightest of days to the darkest of nights, we move on to the main protagonist of Injustice and one of the more popular superheroes of all time, Batman. Similar to how Superman's paid tribute to the Man of Steel movie, Batman references an iconic shot from Tim Burton's Batman with the Batwing in the moon. It's cool to see Batman have his tech take you down, but it's slightly disappointing how he's less involved in this one in comparison to his Injustice 1 super. Overall, it's still a great super with some good beats to make it memorable. 'Laser Blasting at 19 is one of my favorite DC villains of all time, and my most requested DC character to make it into this game, Black Manta. Cutting and impaling you with his trident, jet boosting you while shooting you with his missiles to flow it with a harpoon reel to hook you in with a blast from his laser eyes, something Kano would definitely blush at. All of these highlighting Black Manta's arsenal and all of it flowing super well. I've got little complaints to say about this one, I just think it looks great. This underwater menace truly showcases his skill. And we're looking at the main villain of Injustice 2, Brainiac. This Superman villain and final boss really shows that final boss super. Having his minions pin you down to have his giant ship shoot you with a laser while the opponent gazes at it before it strikes. I'm really happy to see the over-the-top super move from the final boss trope return for something like Injustice 2. It's just a nice visual treat. We're looking at one of the main characters and another Kryptonian joining the roster, Supergirl. Injustice 2, in comparison to the first one, doesn't have as many supers where you're thrown into space, as some complained it was a bit over the top. This, I feel, is an exception, and it really kicks ass. Taking the opponent for a ride around the sun as Supergirl laser blasts them through an asteroid field is impactful and awesome. Lots of great pacing and well-paced shots, such as the meteor shower and Supergirl in front of the sun. Way to soar high on this list. At 16, and we're looking at a character I was mixed on when they were first announced, Poison Ivy. For a character I wasn't looking forward to, her super is undeniably awesome. Summoning the same Venus flytrap from Little Shop of Horrors to rip apart the opponent to then slingshot them through a barky wall all flows well and it looks quite disturbing. Definitely a super creative one that I wasn't expecting. Way to chomp out a lot of the competition, Poison Ivy. Shooting in at 15 is my friend Kyle's go-to character, Deadshot. For how annoying this character is to fight and how much he focuses on zoning tools, he has quite a pretty good super. Throwing his rifle in the air to then perform multiple slashes, stabs and some shots before catching and pulling a dude-perfect trick shot to end it is pretty neat. Way to hit your target. Freezing in place at 14 is Captain Cold. For a Wish.com take on Sub-Zero, this super is extremely flashy and cool. Deep freezing the opponent to create a giant spike while shooting you constantly is nice. All flows well and is shot extremely nicely. I could make an obvious cold pun here, but I'm not sure how many of you would think it's an ice joke. At 13, we're looking at one of the more popular members of the Suicide Squad and the Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn. Last time, I put her super at the bottom of the list, and this is a huge glow up. Having her pet hyenas rip you apart like internet critics did to Henry Cavill's recasting in first person makes this a standout, all of which ends with a perfect slam with her baseball bat to the face. Way to make a major improvement, Harley. It's a home run. Things are gonna get green at 12 as we look at Swamp Thing. This is a great take on taking the opponent somewhere to beat you up. Instead of transporting them to another planet or to the skies, Thing pulls them into the earth and uses more greenery to beat you up. The backbending over the rock always got me. For how much I don't like playing Swamp Thing, this super makes up for it and it gets the green thumbs up. From willpower to pure rage, we're moving on to the other lantern in this game, Atrocitus. This rage-fueled monster does a great job showcasing Red Lantern's power, summoning blades and a giant raging bull to smash you through some stone pillar, ending it with an Atrocitus staple, the napalm vomit, burning the opponent. Definitely one of the more brutal supers in this one, along with a nice inclusion of Atrocitus taunting you the whole time. This one is just solid. Boom tubing into the top 10 with one of the Justice League's main baddies and pre-order bonus for Injustice 2, Darkseid. Great use of his Omega beams, which take you through a bunch of space debris with some great framing and pacing. I love how it ends with Darkseid using his giant hand to catch you and then throw them back into the arena. It's extremely fitting to the character and is a visual treat. Also, it's a great take on the projectile-based super move. I know his name is Darkseid, but in terms of quality, this super is on the good side. Heading into number 9 is Scarecrow, voiced by the man of your nightmares, Robert Englund. This does a great job using fear to manipulate what the opponent is seeing, along with how Scarecrow can damage the opponent, taking them to another realm for Scarecrow to throw you around like an angry Avenger would to a trickster god. I also love the little attention to detail where he slams you into a grave with the opponent's name on it. This sickle super will get you hooked easily. Looking at the last member of the Teen Titans in the Injustice series, Starfire. What a great use of her powers, framing, and pacing. My favorite little detail is the reference to the Teen Titans opening, with Starfire shooting towards the camera. The ending shot of her massive explosion just shows how powerful she is, which just sends them back to Earth, which looks great. This Starfire super is just lit. Shazamming into the 7th spot is the leader of Kahndaq, Black Adam. Where I found his first super to be very disappointing, this is a major improvement. Grabbing them and then yeeting them into a pyramid from across the world, charging them through them and then having them explode through that same pyramid with one simple Shazam, which is just great. This one is so explosive and shot so well, along with highlighting a lot of Black Adam's powers and strength. This super is just shockingly good. Stepping into number 6 is the Joker, one of the more popular comic book villains. Like some supers in this game, this one pays tribute to one of the more disturbing graphic novels, Death in the Family, where Joker beats Jason Todd to death and leaving him to die with an explosion. With Joker's weird hallucination powers in this game, he makes the opponent experience what Jason went through, being pure torture. One of the more disturbing ones in the whole game, but one of the more memorable ones as well. Ice sliding into the top 5 is my favorite video game character, no bias I swear, is Sub-Zero. If you thought Captain Cold's icy super was awesome, this one is just loads better. Lots of use of what the character can do, such as his icy barrage, deep freezes, and weaponry, along with his lesser known powers like teleportation. All of this flowing so well, pacing greatly together, and just being extremely awesome. This one is just cool as hell. Cowabunga-ing into the 4th spot are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Along with being a top-tier guest character, they also have a top-tier super move. I love how each turtle strikes you with their signature weapon, flowing so elegantly together and ending with a perfectly framed shell shock from the team. Definitely one of the best supers in this whole game. It's a shell of a good time. Swimming into the 3rd spot is the King of Atlantis, Aquaman. I already stated that his super from Injustice 1 was solid, but talk about a major improvement. This takes a similar approach, flooding the arena, but instead he takes them to the surface of the water and having some mega damage take place up there. I just love how he summons a giant megalodon monster fish to come down, bring you back down to the stage, and then have Aquaman cap it off by stabbing you. This King of the Sea definitely drowns out a majority of the competition.
I grow tired of you.
Our runner-up comes from the God of Thunder and the second Mortal Kombat guest joining the Injustice 2 roster, Raiden. Say what you want about Raiden's inclusion, and many have, but you cannot deny how awesome this super is. Taking the opponent to the Sky Temple from MKX, lifting them into the sky to electrocute them, and then having the trademark Mortal Kombat Dragon crater you back down to the ground. All of this just utilizes a lot of Raiden's super moves and just includes a lot of great staples to make it memorable. Also, an honorable mention to Black Lightning super, like how they changed it to a fist instead of the dragon. This super didn't need to go this hard, but it did. Like lightning, this one is striking. Crossing the finish line of Injustice 2 super moves is the Scarlet Speedster, the Flash. I'm not afraid to say this, but this may be one of the best super moves in modern fighting games. This is just extremely creative. Taking the opponent through the Speed Force to have you go back in time in 3 different eras is so unique and something that only the Flash can pull off. Having him slam you into a Pharaoh's head, into Susie the giant T-Rex, and then into yourself moments before the super was activated is so awesome. It's so absurd and it always puts a dumb smile on my face. Mainly because I just have a dumb smile. Hands down, the best super move in the whole game, rightfully deserving the top spot. So So there's all of the Injustice 2 super moves ranked from worst to best. Which of these was your favorite and which was your least favorite? Be sure to comment down below and let's make this a fun discussion. If you disagree with me on a placement, that's okay. This is just my ranking and I want to know where you're coming from. We've got one more NetherRealm Studios game to cover on All Supers Ranked, and at last, we'll be looking at Mortal Kombat 11. So come back next time, Monday, March 27th, which is my birthday, at 8 a.m. EST. I'm really looking forward to this one and I hope you are too. Until then, thank you so much for your continuous support. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Your support means so much to this channel. Don't forget to smile and have a great rest of your day.